This SHOT Show coverage is sponsored by Valor Defense Depot, Night Vision Inc., and D&T Optics. Links are in the description. What is up, YouTube? My name is David Lee, and you're watching Asian with Head, and I got my buddy Nathan Rollins from Spiritus Systems.
What's up, dude?
How are you doing?
Doing good.
Awesome. We see that there's a lot of stuff going on over here for Spiritus. A plate carrier, a sling, not the gun, obviously.
Yep.
And then some other pouches going on over here. So
Yeah.
let's start with this.
Yeah. New plate carrier, LV120.
Yes.
So complete facelift, a ton of new features, quality of life, all baked in that we've taken in just feedback from the last 6 years of having a plate carrier on the market. We're using a lot more laminate, and we're able to do laser cutting. So you'll see on the front of the plate bag, we have all these little hard points for cable management, and then also just for mounting various pieces of like equipment, like PTTs and whatnot. Tubes cummerbund, that's pretty much going to be it going forward. We found a way basically to just be able to have all of the adjustment be in the rear of the cummerbund, so you don't ever really have to mess with anything in the front.
Right.
Cummerbund itself now, this is going to be a pretty big change. One size fits all. So we have this piece right here, this hard piece that's running into the actual cummerbund itself, and it's basically on tracks. And you would have the snap release, and then you would just adjust it to your general sizing, and then you would do your micro adjustment in the rear of the plate bag.
Awesome.
Coming back around to the front real quick, our maritime guys gave us a lot of feedback. They have to have an eat-off to be able to dish the kit in the water if necessary. So you can run one of these, you can run two, or you can run none. We also updated the profile of the shoulder just to have it be a little bit more like minimalist, so that there's more room for a rifle stock.
Right, right.
Yeah, and then as you can just kind of see, spacer mesh on both the shoulder covers and then also front and rear plate bag.
And are the plate bags about the same size, or are they multiple size for plate bags?
Multiple size plate bags, so and also we will eventually be doing small sappy cut as well.
Awesome.
Because I know that was something we hadn't been doing. Real quick, and this is very kind of a subtle thing, but the rear plate bag actually rides a little bit higher than the front, and that's just because typically you'll often see people, their rear plate bag will sag. Yeah,
it's mainly, I'm sure it has to do with a lot of geometry and weight, that a lot of people tend to put more weight on the back because everyone's used to carrying a backpack, right?
Precisely, yep. So you won't have your rear plate fall out of position. The cummerbund is now elastic.
Yes.
So wearing these plates, if you wear this plate carrier a little bit tighter than you normally would, it's going to brace against your core, take that weight off of your shoulders, and then also, since it's elastic, it's going to breathe with you. Right. So you're not going to have to worry about it like constricting you. That's kind of one of those issues with some structured cummerbunds. I'm just going to open up the back here. So it just opens up now. Huge departure from the previous plate bag, and you can actually see what you're doing. Right. And then, like I said earlier, those micro adjustments, that's just going to be with these barrel locks right here. So, you put on a puffy jacket, you just take a little bit of slack out, and then your cummerbund will be able to fit that quite nicely.
Awesome. Well, I actually like this type of feature, because a lot of plate carriers in the past, I'm not going to name any names, but there's plenty of plate carriers in the past that I've messed with that you're pretty much reaching into the crevices of hell just to try and wire your whole set, or just like organize your whole cummerbund setup. Yeah. So this is an awesome awesome improvement to some quality of life improvements, I guess I would say. And I also like the fact that this is pretty much a harness carrier and very low profile. As previous harness carriers in the past, tend to be bulky, but now you're able to integrate a harness into a cummerbund.
Yeah. And just real quick for you guys to see, so this is how you're going to get that adjustment out of the cummerbund. And then you have these little tabs here and this snap. This does take a little bit of time to undo, but obviously, we did that because we wanted it to be fairly robust and for this to not come undone when you don't want it to.
Well, that's awesome that you're able to keep it, adjustable, because not everyone wants to have as many SKUs as possible logistically.
And it's just a simplicity for people. Speaking of simplicity, we're only going to be doing 4 colors for most stuff going forward.
Yep.
So this is going to be coming in multicam, Ranger Green, Coyote Brown, and Black. And that just has to mostly deal with our availability of materials, since we're using X-Pack and some laminate stuff now, but also just across the board, it just makes a little bit more sense. It's a little bit easier for us to keep stuff in stock when there are less colors, realistically. Yeah, and then another big departure, this is gonna come as a kit. So
Great.
when you buy this, you're gonna be getting your shoulder covers, cummerbund, and plate bags.
Awesome.
Yeah, and it should be retailing for around $450 for the kit, and I believe mid-year is what we're looking at for release date.
Awesome. Congratulations on the plate carrier.
Thanks, man.
And now we have some other ones. Some significant one is possibly the Sling.
Yep. So the Reverso Sling. Sorry about the table dock. Yeah. So previous Sling design, when you pulled towards your body, it loosened the sling, and when you pushed away from the body, it tightened it up.
Yep.
So it was simple. We just reversed it. So now when you are letting the sling out, it's giving you that slack, and it's making it so that you can actually do stuff.
Absolutely.
What's great about that is, you let the sling out, you're at a natural resting position.
Yep.
As you're letting that sling out, your support hand is already coming onto the gun.
Yep.
So,
Less steps.
yeah, expediency, and also just, it is very intuitive that you would pull this towards your body and it would tighten it up.
Awesome.
It's going to come with the hardware that you need, which is nice. So out of the box, the sling is just going to be assembled and ready to go. It's going to come with the sling pad. The sling pad is removable, so if you want to run a non-padded sling, you can just take it off and set it back up. Yeah, super easy. Don't have a price point on this yet, but like the plate carrier, we're looking for about mid-year. Plate carrier is going to come first. That's top priority. This will probably be shortly thereafter.
All right, so we got some pouches over here. We're moving over to the plate carriers and the pouches that were over here. So what are some things that are coming out for Spiritus this year?
Sure. I know we talked about the Thing 3 last year.
Yes.
March. It's coming out in March.
March.
It's in production right now.
There's a lot of setbacks, or just actually, no, I'm not gonna say that.
No, good. It's all good, dude.
Okay.
No, we changed a couple things just on the sides, and it's kind of a stacking tolerance thing. Once you change one thing, you have to change kind of everything else to work around it. So that's just kind of where we ended up, and just with our production schedule, yeah. But March, it'll be here. This thing's gonna be awesome. Really, the only thing that I think changed from for most people that they'll notice from last year was we just kind of bumped the molly on the sides down a little bit.
Sure.
And that's really the biggest thing. For the people that didn't see this last year, that you're seeing this for the first time, we're replacing the Thing 2 with the Thing 3. And it's the highlights, obviously, 4 rows of molly instead of 3. On the back, no more radio pouches. So if you want to run a radio pouch, okay. If not, that's fine too.
Yeah.
And then you have molly on the center of the back as well.
Sure.
So if you want to do crazy double stack, macro rig, feel free. Yeah, it's fairly straightforward. Has Tegris stiffeners in the wings, obviously, so that things aren't going to crumple zone in on themselves.
So is Tegris basically a new thing that's been going on with Spiritus in the last year or two?
We've been using it to some degree for a while now. It's just most people don't really notice it, or they don't know what it is. But yeah, it's it's a solid material. Works really well.
It's not carbon fiber though, correct?
It's some kind of crazy weave. I think it is similar in property to carbon fiber.
But not carbon fiber where it shatters if it is bent enough, right?
No, it's really, really robust.
Right.
Yeah.
Just so everyone knows what Tegris is, because most people don't really explain what Tegris is unless you go Google it, right?
Yeah, it's some sort of hard plastic laminate weave, super durable, meant for military applications.
Sure.
Yeah.
And what's over here?
So, speaking of Tegris, actually, this is our EUD bridge. So we had some units come to us. They asked for a EUD bridge to mount to their fat straps on their chest rig.
Yes.
But it had to be removable because they have to turn their devices back in when they're after they get out of the field and whatnot. They can't just leave it permanently attached.
Right.
So it has these crazy little tuck tabs here on the side. And this is basically how it secures. And this tab right here weaves through the molly on the fast strap. So if you have other straps that have normal molly spacing sewn in, you can run this with those as well.
Fantastic.
Yeah, and it's just a bunch of hard points. You can put your PTT on this thing. You can put your EUD device, like your ATAC and stuff.
Yes.
A little bit more hyper specific, but I mean, I've seen
it looks like something that you can adapt your phone to onto the platform.
Precisely.
Instead of like having a proprietary government device, right?
Yep. It's some sort of semblance to like the Eagle RRV setup where everyone had the Rhodesian rig and they had this admin panel up top. Kind of like that, except a little bit, modern materials and a little bit more modular.
Absolutely.
And also made out of a ton of Tegris because you don't want this thing to like move around really.
It needs to stay in one place.
Yep. Exactly.
Not get to, like saying so the RV is all Cordura and this one's just solid and just isn't as malleable, I guess is the term.
Yeah.
All right, and now we're on to magazine pouches.
Yeah, so first one is going to be a munitions pouch for 40 mic or for flashbangs. We don't really have a name for it yet. I've just been calling it the egg carton.
I see what you did there.
Yeah. So when you open it and you pull on it, what's happening is that it's pulling the munition out of the pouch towards you.
Yeah.
And this is primarily meant to be mounted in this up and down orientation. However, it does have the cutouts on the side. So like if you have malice clips, you could also mount it
into a different direction.
Sideways.
Yes.
So it just all depends on how you want to mount for orientation.
I honestly like that idea because now instead of, I only do airsoft, so I wouldn't know anything in the firearms or real world. But a lot of guys in airsoft, what they're always doing is grabbing 40 mics and they're still having to reach down there to grab it. But now it's a lot more presentable. It's a lot more easier to grab.
It'll actually come to you instead of trying to like awkwardly 2-finger pinch the munition out of the pouch.
Right.
Yeah. So for like for airsoft, for like your tag rounds and whatnot, this is going to be a really solid option for stuff like that.
Sure.
Yeah.
We got these two pouches.
Yep. I think we talked about these last year, but for people that haven't seen them yet, this is the EMP and the TEMP. So the triple elastic magazine pouch and the single elastic magazine pouch. Biggest kind of differences versus some other stuff on the market. A little bit more durable elastic that's actually going to hopefully stand the test of time. We've had some of these last over a year of just stuffing M4 mags into them, which is reassuring because it sucks to buy one of these and then it wears out after like 6 months.
Not naming any other businesses. I know what you're talking about.
It is what it is, man.
Yeah.
It's just like different materials for different purposes. Right. We want something a little bit more durable that's just going to hopefully last longer.
Is that why you guys use Velcro?
So the Velcro actually serves kind of two purposes. One, you have a little bit more structure here. Also, when you put it on the front of a Mark V, if you want, like we have our pangolin flaps, and our pangolin flap, you take a magazine flap and you could put it over top of this.
That makes a lot of sense.
Yeah. Also, for like the law enforcement guys, they wanted to be able to have Velcro on the front of their placard at all times for an identification badge. So like a big thing that says sheriff right here.
Yes.
But for probably more your audience, more application is just going to be like putting a magazine flap of some kind over the top of it.
Sure.
So if you're running like 6 mags up front, you can just cover it.
Sure.
Extra retention option.
Absolutely.
And then you have this little tab right here. So it's going to come with shock cord, so you can shock cord these down if you want for that extra layer of retention. But also too, it's just nice because you have something to grab onto for re-indexing mags and whatnot. Because it can get kind of weird with the elastic stuff because it closes up naturally.
I mean, most people, like, if you jump, there's a chance. I say jump, and I'm not talking about like jumping out of a plane. Like any type of jumping, there's still a possibility that magazines, if they're not tightened down too well, they can just fly out.
Yeah.
Hell, even running, you can have a chance of magazines flying out if they're not well tensioned down. So the fastest way, like we've been talking about, is just closed flaps.
Yep, closed flaps or shock cord, and you'll have the option for either or none. It just all depends on how you want to run your stuff.
It's your choice, not ours.
Yep, exactly.
All right, well, Nathan, I think that's pretty much it for Spiritus, right?
Yeah, that's it.
SHOT Show 2025, we're almost done.
Almost.
You ready for the show to be over?
Yeah, it'll be nice to get back home.
Get back home?
Yeah.
Awesome. Well, thank you very much, man.
Of course.
David Lee, Asian with Hat. We'll see you guys soon.